In these times, many people no longer want to spend thousands for a short Disney trip. One traveler even said, "I would pay $250 just to avoid going to the US. American travel has become too expensive, and many people are saying, I'm not going anymore." The truth is simple. The United States is now too costly, too complicated, and no longer feels safe. Places like New York, Las Vegas, and the Grand Canyon were once full of tourists. Now, people are choosing Japan, Mexico, and Europe instead. The American dream has turned into a nightmare of high prices. This isn't just about travel. It's a warning for the US economy and millions of American jobs. Are we losing tourists, or are we losing our position in the world? A burger combo in New York now costs around $20. That's the same price as a seafood buffet in Bangkok. So, many tourists think, forget it. I'll go to Thailand instead. Hotel prices have also gone up by 15 to 20% since 2019. A normal hotel room in New York or Los Angeles costs about $300 per night. For a family of 4 staying 3 nights, that's already $900. And that's not including food, transport, or tickets to attractions. For the same price, you could spend a whole week in a 4-star resort in Mexico. And it would even include a free breakfast buffet. Flights to the US are also among the most expensive in the world. A round trip from Paris to New York can cost more than $1,200. That's almost double the price of a ticket to Tokyo. So even before you arrive, your wallet is already half empty. Why is this happening? Because of inflation, high taxes, and hidden service fees everywhere. And the US dollar is very strong, which makes everything more expensive. In America, everything comes with extra charges. A $12 drink can become $16 after taxes and tips. An Uber ride from the airport can cost as much as a short domestic flight. For many visitors, that's not service, that's an insult. So tourists are choosing other countries. They go to Mexico, Canada, Japan, or Europe instead. Those places are cheaper and make visitors feel welcome. Even Americans themselves are traveling less now. They stay home and look at old vacation photos instead of making new ones. Travel is becoming a dream on a screen, not something you live. A French couple wanted to celebrate their 20th anniversary in California. But when they added up all the costs, it was around €7,000. They chose Japan instead, clean, safe, and affordable. And they are not the only ones. The US used to be the land of dreams. Now it's the land of bills. People come here not to relax, but to check their bank accounts. Who wants a vacation where every meal and ride feels too expensive? If tourists can't afford it, how can ordinary Americans keep up? And then comes the visa problem. Starting in October 2025, the US will add a $250 integrity fee. With all other fees, people will pay around $442 just to apply. And that doesn't even guarantee approval. Some wait months for an interview, only to be rejected in 2 minutes. Even with full documents, they hear, "Sorry, not enough reason to believe." It feels like a lottery, except the prize is just the right to spend money. After security concerns, the US made visa rules tighter. But that decision scared away many travelers. Now, people from Asia, Africa, and Latin America go elsewhere. They choose Canada, Europe, or Japan, where it's easier and cheaper. Even Americans with immigrant families face this problem. They worry about visa rejections more than ticket prices. An Indian student once waited 6 months for a US visa. He got it, but was detained for 4 hours at the airport. Then he was sent back home without attending his brother's graduation. The phrase, "Welcome to America," now sounds like, Welcome if you're lucky. America once stood for culture and freedom. Now it feels like a country full of barriers and suspicion. Would you pay hundreds of dollars for a stamp that might be rejected? Most people would rather visit a country where visas are easy. But even if you make it into the US, another question appears. Will you feel safe? The biggest concern for tourists is safety, not price. The image of America has changed. It's no longer the Statue of Liberty or beautiful road trips. It's scenes of violence, social unrest, and fear in public places. Over 40,000 cases of violence were reported in the US last year. That's more than in some war zones. So people ask, why go there when I can choose peace elsewhere? A Japanese family planned a trip to California. But after reading news about a school shooting, they canceled. Not because of money but because they lost trust. For most foreigners, America is one image, not 50 states. And that image is becoming one of danger and instability. Older tourists with money now prefer cruises in Europe or Bali. Younger travelers hesitate too. They want to post Grand Canyon photos but fear for safety. In Paris, tourists worry about traffic. In the US, they worry about violence. The land of freedom now feels like an action movie. And no one wants to be the main character. The result is empty hotels, restaurants, and bars across America. Behind every number are real people who lost their income. If America no longer feels safe or affordable, what is the dream worth? Once trust is lost, can it ever return? And there's one more reason this decline is spreading fast. It's social media. You don't need to fly to America to know what's happening. Just open TikTok, YouTube, or Facebook. You'll see angry videos about bad service and high costs. Bad news spreads faster than airplanes. One negative story can damage more than 1,000 happy photos. And that's the sad reality facing America's tourism today. A beautiful photo might get a few thousand likes. But a video about being stopped at the border, being questioned for hours, or waiting 3 hours in customs can get millions of views. Negative emotions spread faster and reach more people. In 2025, tourists don't need to visit a place to lose trust. They just need to see what others experienced. If a famous travel blogger says, "I'm canceling my USA road trip because of all the rules," the audience will think, if they're giving up, why should I even try? That's the dark side of social media. The image of America has changed. It's no longer seen as a dream destination. Now it's often shown in videos of disappointment. Search, "Why I Won't Travel to the US," online you'll find hundreds of videos with millions of views. These viewers are not just curious, they are potential tourists turning away. This is how the cycle works. One bad story spread fast, creates a negative image, and keeps more people from coming. Even 1 million beautiful photos of the Grand Canyon can't erase one viral video of a tourist being treated badly at the airport. But there's something else people don't talk about. Negative stories don't just affect foreign visitors, they affect Americans too. When an American in Florida or Ohio sees tourists complaining, they feel embarrassed and sad. They think, if people don't want to come here anymore, what happened to our dream? It's painful because America used to lead the world in soft power movies, music, TV, and culture. Now, that image is fading because of viral stories. A photo of the Grand Canyon might be worth 1,000 words, but one bad airport video can hurt an entire industry. And that leads to the biggest question: who suffers the most? The answer is simple: ordinary Americans. People who work in hotels, restaurants, taxis, and bars. People who depend on tourists for their income. When international visitors stop coming, they don't just take their luggage, they take away the money that supports millions of workers. Before 2019, tourism brought over $250 billion to the US economy. That was restaurant rent, hotel room fees, and waiter tips. But now, that money is disappearing and so are the jobs. Think of Florida, Nevada, or Hawaii. These states rely on tourism. Now they look like empty bars. The lights are on, but no one's there. A hotel owner in Las Vegas once said, "There are so many empty rooms that I can hear my own echo in the hallway." It sounds funny, but it's actually very sad. The waiter lost working hours. The Uber driver works longer but gets fewer passengers. The small restaurant that waited for peak season now closes early. Even New York hot dog sellers have fewer customers. Tourists used to buy them for the authentic American experience. Now, they stay home or visit other countries instead. A retired couple renting a beach house in Florida, no bookings. Students working in coffee shops near Times Square, their shifts are cut in half. And while the customers disappear, the bills for electricity, water, and insurance still arrive on time. Ironically, the only thing that never stops are the bills. When tourists turn away, it's not just businesses that lose money. It's the local communities that suffer. Ordinary workers, who have no control over national policies, lose the most. Imagine waking up at 5 a.m. to open your breakfast shop. You wait for buses full of tourists, but they never come. You check your income sheet and wonder, can I survive another summer? Behind every empty hotel room are real struggles: children's school fees, home loans, and family meals. That's the real pain, not seen in news reports, but felt in people's wallets. So, is America just losing a few million tourists? Or is it losing its ability to give people jobs? If things don't change, will the American dream fall into the hands of the very countries it once looked down on? Imagine a list of the world's top 10 travel destinations and the US is missing. No New York. No Las Vegas. No Grand Canyon. A global party, and America isn't invited. It sounds dramatic, but it's already happening. Tourists now prefer Japan for its cleanliness, Europe for its history, and Mexico or Thailand for their low prices and good food. What do they say about the US? Too expensive, too complicated, and too stressful. If a product no longer attracts buyers, it's eventually removed from the shelf. The biggest danger isn't just losing tourists. It's losing America's image and soft power, the same image built by Hollywood, pop music, and global culture. Travel isn't only about money. It's how a nation shares its dreams with the world. If tourists choose Kyoto over New York or Paris over Los Angeles, it's not just a vacation choice, it's a message. If America disappears from the world tourism map, the damage will be deep and lasting. Small restaurants in Florida lose foreign customers. Family hotels in California close down. Workers lose jobs. And slowly, the world begins to accept a sad truth: America is no longer a dream destination. Once people believe that, it's very hard to change their minds. America once called itself the land of dreams. But if tourists stop spending to live that dream, then that dream becomes an empty hotel room, lights still on, but no one inside. So here's the final question. What if one day, Americans themselves have to travel abroad to feel the dream they once sold to the world? It sounds cold, but it might be closer than we think. Imagine a shopping cart full of dreams: a trip to New York, a photo in Las Vegas, a visit to the Grand Canyon. But at the checkout counter, the bill is too high. And suddenly, that dream feels out of reach. That's the image of American tourism today: once a dream destination, now a place people avoid. And when the tourists leave, it's not politicians or billionaires who suffer, it's ordinary Americans. The question remains: are we just losing tourists, or are we also losing America's place in the world? And more importantly, is it too late to fix it? If you're a tourist, would you still want to visit the US? If you're American, how do you think your country can win back trust? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video interesting, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is not a political message, it's a social and cultural analysis to start a discussion. And remember, the American dream doesn't vanish in a single day. It slowly fades away with every bill, every tourist lost, and every small piece of belief that disappears. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.